kaibigan atong tanan and welcome sa atong programa nga Partners in Law. Kini brought to us by the Philippine Earth Justice Center and the Cebu Lady Lawyers Association. And for this month's episode, we will still talk about different environmental issues, labi na din sa ato ang nasod and also mga local issues nato dire sa probinsya sa Subo. So ako di ay si Attorney Joy Argalion, Legal and Policy Officer sa Philippine Earth Justice Center, and I will be your host sa atong discussions karong gabi una. And for this month, we're very happy and we're very fortunate na kuyog nato ato ang mga guests for this evening's episode. So, una ipaila-ila nato ang guest nato / also co-host nato because she is one of our paralegals sa Philippine Earth Justice Center. Elise, please introduce yourself.
So, mayong buntag, ako si Elise Jean B. Flores, paralegal ko karon sa PJC, fourth year student.
Okay, so ang nindot is na atong paralegals are also law student practitioners gikan sa University of Cebu School of Law. Usa ka partner nato sa Philippine Earth Justice Center, especially sa atong mga advocacies and campaigns for the protection of the environment. So thank you for joining us this evening, Elise. And kanang kindly introduce our guest karong gabi una, or siya na mo introduce sa iyang self. So atong guest karon, welcome back to the show, Attorney Nika.
Hello, maayong gabi sa atong mga viewers, and I'm very happy to be back here in CCT and gimingaw gyud kaayo ko and I'm so excited sa atong topic for today. And by the way, for our viewers, I'm Attorney Nika Oquias, Legal and Policy Specialist sa Oceana. So before, siguro makahinumdum na for katong mga previous tapings, I'm here in my capacity as the Legal and Policy Officer sa Philippine Earth Justice Center. But now, nanako in a different organization but still working for the protection of our environment. And yeah, maayong gabi sa tanan.
Yes, so we're happy to have you, Nix. We're happy to have you back, Nix. And I'm sure our televiewers are also excited to hear some interesting news and updates, and also sa may mga bago na itong campaign. So first off, balik lang nato pa ila-ila. Your capacity now with Oceana, Nix, what are your campaigns lined up for this year?
Yeah, for the information of everyone, Oceana is an international advocacy organization, but we focus, unlike sa PEJC na they deal with any kind of environmental issues. For Oceana, we focus on the conservation of oceans. So the campaign that we have, naagid siya on ocean conservation. For this year, we have 5 campaigns. Campaign against illegal fishing within municipal waters, ang habitat protection or ang pag-establish ng mga marine protected areas to be integrated sa ato ang expanded National Integrated Protected Area System. For Cebu, we have Tanyon, and karon ang among campaign is for the integration sa Panaon Island in southern Leyte. We also have campaign for banning of single-use plastics, fisheries management areas, and of course ang mangroves. Last year, katong napa ko sa PEJC, we had a campaign against reclamation. So na-end siya last year, but of course kay bawman tanon sa nature sa campaign na dili man gyud na mo end.
Yes.
Once nag-end yun ang specific period dedicated, the campaign still continues, and of course we work closely with Philippine Earth Justice Center, especially for reclamation projects here in Cebu. Yes. Specifically.
So very timely nga mga discussions, especially now nga critical kaayo na gyud ang importance, or gihatagan ng ginatong dakong importansya ang pag-protect sa atong oceans and sa atong marine ecosystem in general. So next, you've mentioned about the reclamation campaign, So for our televiewers, kaning reclamation murag sige gyud din natong makit-an everywhere, especially nganhi sa atong probinsya sa Subo, Pero why is this dili na siya part sa ongoing campaigns karon, but why is this something that our televiewers should be aware of siguro?
Yeah, I think the issue on reclamation concerns everyone. So I think all of us should know and all of us should care. Reclamation, gitawag na mo siya og dumping and filling, no, kay ang gibuhat man gyud gitambakan lang ang atong municipal waters, ang coastal areas. It's a really concerning issue because the nature of the project is irreversible, meaning di na nimo mabalik sa original na state ang tubig nga imo ang gitambakan. And that has a great implication, especially for us, Cebu, an island province, and the Philippines as an archipelagic country. We rely so much on the marine resources na atong nakuha from our waters. And dili lang siya nag-destroy sa marine waters nato, no, but even the mangrove areas na naa sa in between the land and the sea. So it involves clearing those resources na when in fact very helpful siya in mitigating climate change, in reducing the impact, especially if naay mga super typhoons. So those kinds of things na that's why very important na we should be concerned and mangilabot ta, especially in the discussion karon na very hot issue, reclamation issue in Manila Bay.
Yes. So we'll park that issue, no, sa Manila Bay kay murag dako gyud siya nga discussion. Well, Elise, any thoughts about kanang reclamation that's na-observe na ba kay experience nga nakita nimo, or also in your time as our intern and also our paralegal with the Philippine Earth Justice Center, have there been any parang thoughts that you would like to share to our televiewers regarding the issue on reclamation?
Okay. So the issue on reclamation, kay it's really something na we have to know. Kay kanang as mentioned by Attorney Nika, kay ang mga reclamation projects kay usually kay mahimo jud na siyang dumping and filling na may uban na cases na kanang adto sila og kanang mga environmentally protected areas, o niya kay kanang basta environmentally protected area kay muna siya kanang unsa bitaw, it is important sa environment. So like for example mga mangrove trees, so kanang mga mangrove trees kay kana sila ang motabang na kanang if naaga ni typhoon kay dili kaayo grabe ang effect, and also kanang dili kaayo grabe ang effect sa kanang mga nagpuyo didto, unya kay kanang okay ra ang ilahang mga napuy-anan. So aside from that, kanang mga mangrove sad kay makatabang sad sila na kanang maghatag og mapuy-anan sa mga fishes. So like there are a lot of kanang aquatic na mga species dito na which ang mga fishermen sad nag-rely sad, and kadaghanan sa mga taga Sugbo mag-rely sad dito for their income, daily sustenance. So kanang lisod kaayo kung kanang naay reclamation project na kanang ang uban kay putlon na nila, then walay tarong na mga ECCs or kanang certificates for it na kanang putlon nila, then i-dump nila dito ang mga basura. So like it's very difficult kay ang maapektuhan ana kay ang mga katawhan rasad, mga fisher folk rasad, unya kay kanang it's very heartbreaking kay ahaman sila mopuyo karon, ahaman sila mangitag panginabuhi, ahaman nimo sila ibutang, unya kay it's not just that effect na mabuhat sa pagputol sa mga mangroves or kanang reclamation, kay ang long-term effect po jud ana sa future generation. So aha naman nimo ibutang, nag-increase na ba ang temperature karon, climate change sila, aha naman.
Yeah, so
that's the difficulty.
Yeah, I understand your concern jud kaayo ana Elise, and we're very happy nga sa atong mga interns no we get to
Yeah.
expose them to these kinds of issues. Kay ako when I was still a law student parang wala pa man kaayo ko na involve ana nga mga issues, but right now no with our partnerships with law schools no ma-integrate na nato nga mga discussions and awareness. Bisan
Yeah, nindot kaayo,
awareness
no?
lang nga level.
Even during my time, we didn't get that kind of really integration. You really you get the grasp of what's happening on the ground, and I'm very happy with Elise because not a lot of law schools siguro or not a lot of interns get to have that experience on the ground, and it gives you so much perspective siguro, and hopefully in the future now we can attract more and
Yes.
more young lawyers to join us in this advocacy.
Yes, kay kinahanglan kaayo na nato, especially with a lot of dili lang gani reclamation no, especially with different environmental concerns happening ani sa atong syudad sa Sugbo or even all throughout the country. And na-mention ni Elise, no, daghang na-point out si Elise na very interesting points, especially on the topics on livelihood, no? Livelihood, displacement, especially sa kanang mga fisher folk or even local communities in the coastal areas affected by reclamation. And we know that when we talk of reclamation, di ra na siya usa ka issue, no? Magsumpay-sumpay na siya nga mga issues, especially about our environment. With Oceana's campaign, no, you mentioned earlier, Nick, about the campaign on ocean conservation. How close man kaayo ang the connection with the conservation of ocean and coastal ecosystems, especially with what's happening right now and the current state of the reclamation. And maybe you can give maybe a bit of statistics siguro unsa nakadako or unsa ka vast reclamation kahit overhead figures.
Based on the data provided by PRA, kanang gi-publish nila sa gitawag nato na Electronic Freedom of Information website nila, they approved a total of 52 reclamation projects. That's all over the country. But as you can see, if magbasa mo sa news, focusing on the Manila Bay, they approved about according to DNR, there's a conflict manggod of the figures stated by DNR and the figures stated by PRA. But according to DNR, si Secretary Loizaga suspended the 22 reclamation projects in Manila Bay. According to PRA, naara daw 13 approved projects, and of the 13, duha ang ongoing, and for the rest, nag-secure pa ang papers. That's the figures in Luzon for Manila. But for Cebu, I think, if I'm not mistaken, na 11 reclamation projects na application stage, and there are a few na ongoing pa. So scattered in different cities, municipalities in Cebu City. And wala pa na nag-include sa katong mga illegal reclamation. There are a lot, especially here in the island of Cebu. So given the figures, it's really alarming, I would say, considering na daghan kaayo tag mangingisda nga would be affected, would be displaced if all these reclamation projects would indeed proceed.
So, nagsugod pa lang tano sa discussions on reclamation, and I think it's important also to know the current status, and also later we'll talk about the moratorium and also the current news about some reclamation activities being suspended. So, muhunong sa tano, we'll take a few minutes break. Balikan to nato ato ang interesting discussions later. Partners in Law will be right back. back sa atong programa nga Partners in Law. Kini gihapon brought to us by the Cebu Lady Lawyers Association and the Philippine Earth Justice Center. We're still with our guests and our co-host. No, atong guest karon si Attorney Nika Oquias from Oceana Philippines, and our co-host is Elise Flores, atong paralegal sa Philippine Earth Justice Center, and also one of the law student practitioners from the University of Cebu School of Law. So ganina, before we took a break, naghisgot na tano about figures regarding unsa naman kadaghanon ang reclamation activities happening karon all over the country, especially very mura magog nahimong hotspot, no, ang Manila Bay, and I would say also Cebu, because daghan kaayong reclamation activities for an island as small as Cebu, no, and as rich, very rich in coastal resources. So earlier, no, naghisgot na taana. So but just want to emphasize, no, we heard that there is a moratorium issued by the previous administration regarding before the former President Duterte stepped out of office. There was an issued moratorium on reclamation activities. But anong naamang gihapoy reclamation activities, Attorney Nick? So maybe for the benefit of our televiewers, nasa gamay nga clarity regarding that.
Yeah, as mentioned by Attorney Joy, no, sakto to, former President Duterte issued a moratorium on the reclamation projects in the entire country. He issued a presidential decree, or if I'm not presidential proclamation, suspending new applications. So meaning but pasabot na ang PRA karon dili na pwede mo accept og new applications, but kadtong naka-submit na, there are 187 projects na naa sa listahan sa PRA. So they would still proceed if they decide nga ipadayon to. So mao toy nahitabo last year, and murag ang prior na nahitabo atong issuance, no, ang Coron issue.
Yes.
The reclamation project in Coron, which is the only project I think in the country nga na-revoke ang ECC nga gi-issue, no, for that specific reclamation project, and there's an order na i-rehabilitate ang kantong naguba. So mo na ang nahitabo last year, and we're very happy na for this year naapoy significant development. President Marcos last week, I guess, niingon siya na isuspend ang mga reclamation projects in Manila Bay specifically, except the one project, but wala pa gi-disclose unsa to na project. Yeah. So mo na ang nahitabo karon, the Office of the President and the Department of Environment and Natural Resources Office through Secretary Loizaga suspended the reclamation projects in Manila Bay unless mahuman na ang cumulative assessment nga pagabuhaton sa Manila Bay. Ang cumulative assessment tan-awon na og unsay state sa Manila Bay, unsay nahitabo with the ongoing projects happening. If muadto mo sa Manila Bay, no, makita ninyo na naay mga trucks nga mag-shoot out og mga filling materials para mag-dump, and it's really an ugly sight, I would say, especially sa very kanang rich sa heritage ang area, ang Manila Bay, rich in culture, and makitaan lang nimo nga beside the sunset sa other side na ay puy truck nga nagkuan nga to, nag-undergo og mga projects. So yeah, mauna ang current na nahitabo, and at the executive level there's a suspension by the Office of the President, and ang atong legislators pod, ang senators, and I'm not sure if naapod sa House of Representatives, there's a pending resolution asking for the conduct of an inquiry in aid of legislation to investigate what's really happening, ang policies ba nato with respect to reclamation projects, is it still relevant, consistent pa ba sa ato ang policies, especially environmental policies nato. So for the information sa atong televiewers, the issue of reclamation has again surfaced and is very highly talked about, especially at the national level.
Yeah. I think this is a very important development yun, because not only will this address the Manila Bay issue, but it will really ripple to the other existing mga whether it's legal, whether it's an ongoing there's already a present application on this, or even the illegal reclamations nga dili lang nato manotice, and even for us in PJC and Oceanamurg, we can take a look into each of the reclamation activities listed in the PRA list. But it's also an awareness, it also gives an awareness for our televiewers, or mga kanang magbasa lang sa news or makita sa news of what's happening in Manila Bay, which might also be happening in their locality, but they just don't know how to act on it. So at least with the development on the Manila Bay specifically, makita ta og gamay nga hope, I would say, especially that the national government or the legislative is taking a look, nanay inquiry, as mentioned by Attorney Nika, to really shed a light about all these reclamation activities. Speaking of Manila Bay, naman tay law student diri. Unsa man day, I'm also curious and also for our televiewers, unsa day ka importante si Manila Bay, and nganong important man siya i-rehabilitate. And I think we have a jurisprudence ana, di ba, nganong important si Manila Bay ma-rehabilitate. So I think to shed a light on that, atong ihatag ni Elise.
It's very important sa atoang culture, ang kana siya na place kay dira sa una kanang naay mga parades and mga kanang mga important na mga festivals and everything. It's showing protection ana na area that is important sa ato ang culture. Also allows us na kanang we it values ko ahatagikan ba dili bitaw kanang gubon ang ato ang past, but also kan acknowledging unsa ang nahitabo sa una and acknowledging ang beauty sa Manila Bay, which is kanang important na kanang ato ang kanang i-develop ang kanang iyahang unsa na i-keep ang iyahang cultural significance as Filipino people. So that's how it is very important, and na ganito'y kanang mga developments na kanang kuhaon unta ang Manila Bay, and then however kanang ang ato ang madaog gihapon ang cultural and kanang cultural significance over Manila Bay to protect it.
Yes. And thank you Elise, because ako I just to share like a personal anecdote. We were there last June, but prior to that, the last memory of Manila Bay that I had was like mga ice cream vendors, and that the backdrop will be the sunset, and may mga bangka at the back, kanang mga small artisanal fishermen like fishing, kanang namingwit lang, and kanang nangisda, nagkuan og mga nets nila. So that was my memory of Manila Bay. And then when we went there last June, also for a reclamation summit, an activity that was conducted there, to say, for lack of better word, I was shocked to see like all these developments happening. And na-expand ang yuta gyud kaayo, and there's very little na lang jud nga area for fisher folks and for other recreational activities which used to be done sa kana na area in the Manila Bay. And I know that dili ra man kana ang stretch sa Manila Bay. The Manila Bay stretches from different provinces. Yes. And daghan kaayong mga affected ana nga mga development, and knowing that it is a fishing site, daghan kaayong mga fisher folk yun ang largely affected. by these development activities.
Yes, and also because ang Manila Bay Manggod, it's a traditional fishing site. It's in fact the oldest in the country. And it has supported generations and generations of fisher folk and their family. So, and it's very sad yun nga, if you muadto ka, murag ang tubig sa Manila Bay, ni gamay, no? And then, ang siltation nga nahitabo, it's, I don't know, if muadto mo, magsakit inyong dughan, makakita. And, aside from the fact na traditional fishing ground siya, as you mentioned, dili lang na limited sa Rojas Boulevard, no, ang Manila Bay area. It crosses many provinces, and ang usa ang Cavite na usa pod sa area na naay dako pod thousands of hectares na proposed reclamation project. Cavite is very rich in seafood, na ay mga tahong, and kani sila ng mga mananagat, mga communities na nauntay mga livelihood, no, sila na displaced and naapektuhan yun ang ilang mga kuha. We had conversations with kaning mga affected yun na fisher folk, and daghan kaayo silang stories comparing unsa before ang ilahang life and what it is now. And aside sa issue of livelihood, ang kanang support sa communities, naapod tay safety and security issue ang kaning flooding. I think one of the reason nga nung na-compel yun ang president to suspend the reclamation projects is because nakita niya ang what's happening on the ground. Bulacan is an area within Manila Bay area nga magbaha na nga makita gid nimo ang sea level rise nga atong gitawag nato brought by climate change. In that area gamay lang na uwan mubaha gyud. The people, makita ninyo na nay mga documentaries daghan kaayo, and you would see na mura ganig normal na lang sa mga tao ngadto ang na muabot sa tuhod ang tubig. And one reason nga nung nahitabo na, they say, is because of the reclamation projects na exacerbate sa reclamation project happening in Bulacan. For the context of everybody, ang kanilang Manila Bay Manggod, daghan og mga tributaries nga mga major river systems nga ang tubig gikan ngadto sa river ngadto mo release sa Manila Bay. And when you construct or put something na stop sa natural flow of water, of course ang tubig mubalik yun nganhi. And kahibawta na in Manila Bay area daghan kaayo og mga coastal communities kanang magpuyo dapit sa baybayon, and mao na sila ang really greatly affected yun sa kaning flooding issue. And na kuan pag yun nasamutan kay ang mga mangrove unta nganha, the naturally existing mangrove gipamutol to pave way for the so-called development projects. So it affects marag cross-sectoral ang issue sa reclamation, economic, mga livelihood, safety, security, na agyod mo nang complicated kaayo when we talk about reclamation projects.
Yes, and that's why although many of the discussions surrounding, we'll touch more about that, many of the issues surrounding reclamation would involve the socio-economic aspect, nga ang ilamang yung always the presentation of reclamation activities would be to benefit the people, as they say. But really the ugly truth behind the reclamation is that many of the communities that have been there for many years, decades even, ma-displace gyud sila, and the cultural significance of a particular area kay mawala gyud siya. And now, since kuan man punta, we're in the legal profession, we'll talk about the legal issues, or mga consequences maybe of reclamation activities, and given the current suspension, the moratorium, what should we expect from our local government units, especially if they're planning to reclaim a particular area in order to accommodate more developments. So we'll talk about that when Partners in Law will come back after a few minutes break. So pasalamatan sa nato atong mga sponsors. Partners in Law will be right back. Back sa atong programa nga Partners in Law. This is still brought to us by the Cebu Lady Lawyers Association and the Philippine Earth Justice Center. So earlier, before the break, we discussed about the multifaceted issues surrounding our reclamation activities. O sara gani na ka issue ang reclamation, pero magsumpay-sumpay gyud dayon ang mga other issues nga mo arise if dunay reclamation project nga pagabuhaton. And regardless of gamay or dako na siya nga reclamation activity, all these things will still mag-abot gihapon ni nga mga issues regarding socio-economic significance, the cultural significance of a particular area, safety and security, especially with the risks that come with the changing of the landscape and the water flow, and also the environmental risks nga mapose nga to sa atong coastal ecosystems. And hisgutan nato since before we took a break, naghisgot na tagamay about unsa may mga legal consequences ani, or like Attorney Nika mentioned earlier, the Senate inquiry regarding the reclamation will not just touch on Manila Bay but also affect the policies that we have, the existing policies that we have regarding reclamation. So at present, we know that we have all these requirements. Now we have the environmental impact assessment laws nato, which also are related with the PRA guidelines. So siguro for a little bit of a context, what's the current state of our legal system around reclamation, Attorney Nika?
For the information sa atong mga televiewers, when we talk about reclamation, PRA PRA is the sole body nga naay power to approve. So naay existing executive order giving the PRA the power to approve all reclamations in the Philippines. So bisan asa ka pa, bisan pag naa ka sa probinsya, tanang reclamation project moagi gid na sa Philippine Reclamation Authority. The only person nga maka-revoke sa permit nga gihatag sa PRA is the President. So mao na ang nahitabo karon. If you can see, ang kaning Manila Bay naanay mga approved, and those approved reclamation projects gisuspend. Kinsa ang nagsuspend? Ang President. So he's the only person nga naay power to do so. And as mentioned, ang PRA, sila ang sole body na approving body. They have a lengthy list of requirements na i-comply sa kung kinsa man to ang mag-apply for a reclamation project. Usa sa requirement nga gipangayo sa PRA is the ECC, or the Environmental Compliance Certificate. That's very important because ang PRA dili sila mohatag og approval if walay environmental compliance certificate. So makita nato nga ang PRA, DNR, EMB, sila ang mga bodies gyud nga tutukan, especially kung kamo na amoy mga reclamation project. So ang battle gid naa sa DNR, and of course naapod sa inyong local government unit. But ato ta sa DNR, ang ECC sila na ang mag-issue. Unsa maning ECC? Ang Environmental Compliance Certificate i-issue na once niagi pod og proseso. And ang kaning proseso, nganha maka-intervene or nganha naay right tanang Pilipino kadtong mga directly, especially ang mga directly affected na mga stakeholders, that's your opportunity na mo intervene to participate in the process. O naaman gani mo yung mga pangutana, may it be about your livelihood, the environment. So ang ECC, mauna siya ang opportunity ninyo nga to raise that question, to demand answers, demand accountability. But of course, mauna siya ang ideal world, no? Of course, ang atong mga televiewers, I would know, kay kami adto man yun mi sa ground, and we have a really good idea of what's happening ug asa ang mga serious concerns pod, no? And that would be involvement sa community. There are people na wa sila kahibaw gani, wala sila gikonsulta sa local government unit. And if you encounter such problems, you immediately write a letter, or perhaps contact baka ninyo si Attorney Joy or si Elise, ang PEJC or ang Oceana. Ask questions ug unsa na letter, asa ninyo ipadala to address those concerns. And it's very important nga mangilabot kay ug dili mo motingog. So that would mean silence means yes, no? Pasabot ana nga okay ra sa inyo, ha. So if you don't fight for your rights, matugrangan, ha. If you sleep on your rights, wala ra gyud. So importante na you have to know the process, and mauni siya ang proseso. Moagi usa sa local government unit. Your local government unit should know ug unsa ang mga projects nga pagahimuon sa inyong locality. It is also important na kung reclamation man good, pwede initiated by the LGU, pwede pod by the national government. For reclamation project na initiated by the national government, consultation yun is very important. Your consent sa local government is importante nga kuhaon na ana sa local government code nato. For projects initiated by the LGU must also inform the community and ensure nga nakaparticipate tanan, ensure nga na-invite especially kadtong mga coastal communities, kay sila manggod ni ang ma-displace sa ilang panganabuhian, sa ilahang puy-anan. Importante kaayo nga naka-appeal mo sa proseso. That mao na ang importante na inyong mahibaw, you can demand accountability from the local government units, kay ang kaning mga nasa pwesto, na sa posisyon, they are public servants, so tayo ang boss nila. Yes. So maon ta na, so that's something that you should be aware. So for projects initiated by the LGU, ang local government nato mo konsulta usa sa ilang constituents, get their approval, consent, to merg transparency ba, i-disclose ug unsa ang plano na pagabuhaton sa LGU. And then once mahumana na, so the project would then proceed nga to sa PRA, mag-apply for a reclamation project, and then PRA balik nga to sa DNR para mag-secure usa og katong mga various certificates, mga applications. So usa ang kuhaon sa DNR na angan ang mga very important documents. Without the approval, without the ECC from the DNR, of course dili mo proceed ang project. So mao na siya ang murag basic framework sa ato ang reclamation projects here in the country.
So, given that, Attorney Nika, you mentioned murag nag-overlapping interconnectedness of the different present laws that we have, especially on the EIA system that we had, that we currently have, do you think it's high time na, we currently don't have any law pertaining to reclamation itself, no? Is it high time to have like a specific law or a separate legislation maybe regarding reclamation?
Yeah, I think it's also high time nga muposisyon na ang state ug unsa ba gyud ang ato ang balaod pertaining to reclamation project, because what we have now is kuan lang, it's an executive order, EO 74. So it gives the PRA the power and mga requirements. But as to whether ang Philippines, ang position ba sa Philippines is go for reclamation, okay ra ba nato? We still don't have that, but we suppose na pwede because it's happening and there's no law prohibiting it. But I think it's also high time to pass that law, and that law must be mura siya og it looks at the overall aspect of reclamation, and including na pud ang EIA. Maybe mauna siya ang time nga maka introduce ta og better safeguards for our EIA process, because daghan kaayo og mga buho, no, daghan kaayo og loopholes ang EIA process, especially sa consultation aspect. And I would suggest na the law must also integrate, because reclamation is closely connected with quarrying or seabed quarry. Kay the PRA would not approve an application if you won't specify ug asa nimo kwaon ang filling materials, asa ka mag-quarry. So dili na ma-approvean unless you specify that. So we see na it's really interconnected, and at a law, wala pa'y law nga nagtanaw aning overall aspect, unsaon siya pag manage properly, unsay mga limitations for reclamation projects, even ang size sa reclamation project. Wala sadtay limitation or walay max, no. I think those are things nga dapat tutukan, no, dapat i-discuss, because we have a lot of reclamation projects nga if you imagine mo thousands of hectares, I think that's not kuan siguro, dili siya murag realizable or kanang, and I think it's also not proper to propose such kanang expansive reclamation projects, especially if naa kay coastal communities, no. Makita nimo og si Manong mga 1 hour makaabot na siya sa iyang fishing ground. If you have a reclamation project na thousands of hectares, imagine na ang effort if magsagwan ra na si Manong, og ang gastos if naa siya fuel o sakay motorboat siya, imagine na ang fuel nga muad, ang cost na that would entail sa usa ka mananagat just to get to an area kung asa siya managat. So yeah, I think it's high time to introduce that law. I hope na ang kaning issue sa Manila Bay would really open the door, open the gates to a better legislation for reclamation projects.
Yes. So nindot to siya nga murag points to ponder regarding issues on reclamation, because kami even as lawyers, no, daghan kaayong overlapping laws nga makita kag loophole which can be utilized or which will be taken advantage of by certain proponents nga, well, they have complied with this, so this is okay, murag there's no point to oppose gani about all these reclamation projects. And we know for a fact nga many of these reclamation activities, different ang story when you go to the ground. I think, Elise, you were able to interview some of our partners, no, gikan sa communities affected by reclamation, and I think maybe if na kay ma-share about those conversations, like general thoughts about them being invited to consultations.
So one of the requirements, as previously mentioned by Attorney Nika, is kung sa LGU gani na reclamation, we need a public consultation sa mga people who are affected. So for example, kung sa coastal area siya, kay ang mga fisheries organizations that would be affected there. Unya kay ang isa sa amuang mga nakuha na case is that kanang naa daw public consultation, but ang gi-invite na member kay kanang patay na. So like, unsaon man na pag-public consultation? Like, was there really a public consultation sa mga those affected na mga areas? O niya kay kanang, usahay sad kay, mag-ingon sila na naa daw public consultation, pero kanabitang lahi, like same na name sa organization, pero lahi na kanang barangay or lahi na location. So like, it's not really the people who are affected ato na reclamation area. So kanang grabe kanang wais kayo sila mangita og loophole bitaw na kanang kanang dili ma-appeal sa public consultation niya kay ang nakalisod ana kay kung dili sila maka-appeal then allegedly na ana daw ECC kay sila na din ang madihado ang atong mga client. So muna siya ang usual na kanang issue sa public consultation. So ang buhaton ana kay ang among gibuhatan na kay we write letters to the LGUs na unsa man ang mga minutes of the meeting, kinsa man jud ang present didto, unsa man ang mga gipangsulti kay para ma-identify jud namo na present jud ang katong mga people who are affected aning mga reclamation area. So ana siya kanang importante sad na once naaga ni reclamation area din na affected di ang client kay dili sad ta maghilom-hilom kay kanang kung katulgan na nato atong mga rights kay wala ra jud mahitabo ang ending kay kita ang dihado ang mga future pa jud ng mga anak sa mga fisher folk. So muna siya ang usual na issue sa public consultation.
Yes, that's true. And the sad thing about that is, you know, the wider information dissemination is lacking, you know. It should be more active nung involvement of the citizens, of the people, especially kanang yung directly affected in that area. And we know for a fact that the laws even our EIA laws nato kanang mga guidelines regarding public consultation, public hearing, dili ra magani na sila mo state nga those who are directly affected, even those who are indirectly affected because by reason of their livelihood, moagi sila diha or diha sila nagkuha og mga resources and some other things nga would indirectly affect them if na ay reclamation or any development activities nga buhaton in a particular area, then they should also be consulted or they should also be invited in these kinds of forum consultations and public hearing so that we would know gyud unsay pulso sa masa. Murag mo man gyud ni ang tumong og tuyo aning mga public consultations nato. And in many instances, the legal intervention would come in to anhapon makasod ang atong kumbaga the safeguards that we want to put in place, and kumbaga kita atong role as watchdog of these reclamation and development activities. Because right now, with the pace nga where it's going, mura naman development aggression naman ang nahitabo without compliance with the proper requirements and also with the socio-economic aspects of these reclamations nga wala comply. So here sa Cebu, we also face the same kinds of issues. And in many of these reclamation activities, daghang mga mananagat, and dili lang even mga people, even the environment is gravely affected. Here sa Cebu, we have launched many different campaigns and initiatives. Usaan na ang Citizen Scorecard, which was a brainchild of Oceana Philippines, So maybe Attorney Nika, you can share a little about the Citizen Scorecard.
Last year, gi-publish sa Oceana in partnership with Philippine Earth Justice Center, ILO, and ELAC. So, gitabangan og himo ang Citizen Scorecard. Ang Citizen Scorecard is actually a tool siya, pwede ninyo siyang magamit para magiyahan mo to guide you in the process o unsa man na mga requirements di ay ang kailangan i-comply sa usa ka developer, sa inyong local government unit. Unsa man ang kailangan nilang i-disclose to the citizens, to the communities, especially those affected. So, it's a checklist of requirements. I-translate na siya to Bisaya, so if comfortable mo to read out, to use a Bisaya Citizen Scorecard, available siya online na alang sa website, or bisan i-type lang ninyo sa Google Citizen Scorecard Bisaya, so mugawas ra na. It's translated into Tagalog and there's also an English version. So I hope nga magamit ninyo ang citizen scorecard to guide you in the process. It's really helpful. Na-roll out na siya initially here in Cebu and ongoing ang rollout in Manila Bay. And the results would really be helpful to support our call para i-stop ang reclamation projects or to address issues nga kailangan i-address, especially if the concern is on consultation.
Yes, so important no ang public participation in these kinds of activities, and the citizen scorecard is really a great tool to gauge kung unsa ang level nga gi-involve sa or gipagawas sa local government units or the public private proponents about information concerning a reclamation project. So, daghan kitang mga na-discuss no, regarding reclamation, not just in Manila Bay but also in Cebu and also nationwide, the state of all these reclamation projects. So, gamay na lang tag-oras na nabili no, for our discussion. So, maybe final thoughts, no? Elise, go first.
So, importante jud kaayo na kanang ato ang atimano ng ato ang environment kay di lang siya kanang karon na maapektuhan ta but also ang mga future na mga katawhan ng mga fisher folk. So kanang once we are affected anang mga reclamation or nabatay mga or indirectly affected bata sa kanang mga panghitabo karon kay importante kaayo na we will fight for our rights, no? Kanang dili ta mga tulog o kanang mangutana sadta sa kanang mga LGUs kung unsang may mga nganong na may reclamation ahang man ang amuang asang man among panginabuhi ani mga ingana. So like inyo masad nang katungod kanya kay mo na kanang importante na mangutana mo sa LGU. So kana siya kanang dili ta mga tulog o kanang ato ang labanan atong mga rights.
Okay. Thank you, Elise. And we're very happy to have Elise with us no dire sa ato ang programa, because at least we get kanang thoughts no and insights from a law student pa no. At least they're exposed and aware na about these issues nga they will face no. Hopefully by the time that they become lawyers wala na ni siya lang issues, but then we know that we have the youth are there to help us no in the campaign or in the fight against all these environmental violations. Salamat, Elise. Attorney Nix, message to our televiewers.
Brief message lang siguro for our televiewers. Kami mga advocacy organizations, dili man mi against development no. We are pushing for sustainable development or responsible development because we have a lot of policies in place na would guide even local government units ug asa man di ay appropriate na tukudan, asa man ang appropriate nato na i-develop, and which are areas na restricted or prohibited. So I think we should go back to the basics o unsa man na, and everything must be integrated, everything must be planned well. Kay we can't just nakahuna-huna ta mag-reclaim ta anhi. It must go through a process. So we have a lot of experts, scientists na pwede natong makonsult, technical experts from the government who can I think provide also insight no on unsaon pagbuhat ang mga bagay-bagay. And another thing, I hope na I just want to share with everyone na if we want to pursue development, there are different tracks siguro on pursuing it. We've seen na dili lang build or ang pag-construct ang way to development, but there's also development that integrates nature-based, no? We've been to many areas and we've visited many provinces, cities, municipalities na naaingon ana na perspective, and you can really see the richness of the culture, how everyone is integrated in the process, even the young, even katong nasa school na involved yun sila, and nakita nato na bisan they don't really have those reclamation projects, kanang rich gihapon naka-survive gihapon ang community, and you know there I think that's a really good way forward, and I hope those LGUs can also inspire other LGUs.
Yes. And also, Attorney Nix, how can they reach Oceana Philippines?
Yeah, we have a Facebook page. We also have a website. So pwede mo you can send us email or you can message us sa amo ang Facebook page.
Okay, so Oceana is open for mga partnerships, no? And if you want to learn more about ways to help ocean conservation, and also with their present campaigns on SUPs, single-use plastics, and on mangroves. So thank you again, Attorney Nix, for joining us.
Thank you for inviting Oceana.
Yes, and one last message, no, for our televiewers before we close. I think nasulti na ni Attorney Nika, ni Elise, ang mga important points about this topic. But to add na lang to that, no, an aware and a very active citizenry is what we need, especially at a time of climate emergency. And all these things, pwede rin natong mabuhat if we involve ourselves in many activities in our communities, no? Sa atong eskwelahan, sa atong komunidad, o sa ato ang LGUs if there are activities. So manginlabot ta, let's be aware and let's educate also our peers, our family members, our friends, to be aware and to be involved in environmental protection. Kay kinahanglan na gyud nato murag in one forum, no, that we attended last week, the time to act is now, no, walay laing oras nga angay huwaton sa pag-act nato for the protection of our environment and also for the benefit of everyone, of the humankind. So wala tay oras and just a few reminders, no, you can watch various episodes of Partners in Law sa atong YouTube page. So you can search Partners in Law Celia, and also you can watch all these episodes in the CCTN Facebook page. You can also reach us, Philippine Earth Justice Center, through our Facebook page and also on our social media accounts, PJC_official. So, daghan kayong salamat sa atong televiewers for joining us sa usa ka oras nga discussion about different environmental issues, especially on the issue on reclamation nga giatubang nato sa atong nasod karon. And hopefully, now with these discussions, mas kamo mo join sa atong kampanya to protect the environment. So, daghan kaayong salamat. I'm Attorney Joy Argalion, the Legal and Policy Officer of the Philippine Earth Justice Center. Daghan kaayong salamat ug maayong gabi.